Whatever we did there, it's doing great.
We went live. That's what it was, Cage. I got to ask you, though, what are you so peppy about? What are you so excited to record about? Welcome back to Lucas Tigers and Bronze, episode 925. Cage decided to go on his PC, so he's like, let's go, let's rock. So what's so exciting for you right now, Mr.
Nothing.
Mr. Cage?
Nothing's exciting to me at all. I'm not excited about anything.
No sports. 10 days.
Nope. Carry the weight. Go for it, man. You want to be excited? Tell me what you're excited about.
Fine. I'm excited about the feedback we got for our Beckett partnership.
Do me a favor. Come closer to the camera. Lean in a little bit.
I don't closer think we should I am now.
I don't think we should do this episode. You are clearly herbally enhanced. Look up a little bit. Look towards the web camera. Look at that. Look, guys. This is not somebody who is clear eyes, pure heart.
Full hearts can't lose.
I mean, we can't. I mean, his eyes are clearly not clear. I don't know how we're going to make it through this episode today. Can you take a break and go get some ho-hos? Maybe some ding dongs. Kit Kats. What is the go-to? When you have the good, what is the go-to munchie?
I love dark chocolate covered blueberries.
What? Where do you even find a dark chocolate? Is it a dried blueberry? Like a dried fruit kind of thing?
It started as dark chocolate almonds, but nuts kind of messed with my stomach. I know how that sounds, but like it doesn't sit well. Acai blueberries, fire. It's from like the fresh market.
So it's like a regular blueberry. It's not like a dried blueberry. It's a regular blueberry, and it's covered in dark chocolate, and you are eating a dark chocolate. It actually sounds pretty damn good. I gotta say. I will tell you, Valentine's week here, was supposed to be get back on the diet. It is not. There's just too much chocolate. And it's bad chocolate, but it doesn't matter that it's bad chocolate. I still eat it. Russell Stover's little heart, and it's
Who bought it?
I bought it. It's like dark chocolate for the kids, but they're not going to eat this crap. It's more like, hey, there was a little heart for the kids with like a little cat on it. Ian liked it, but you open it up and he's like, I'm not eating this. He just eats regular solid milk chocolate. He likes a Hershey's bar, no nuts, no craziness, no nothing. So I'm eating like fake strawberry cream inside of a bad chocolate. But I'll eat it anyway. I don't care. It's Valentine's week. I'm getting fat.
So for you guys listening, why we went live is we're hitting record numbers. And Cage said to our group yesterday, what did you guys do to, these episodes are doing super well. One, I think the diversity of content that we have now. The DPZ Collector Show, it obviously takes a few weeks to catch on, but people are loving that. It's just focused on cards. And then the Black Jaded Wolf Uncaged, which is kind of like a market update for people who didn't have a chance to listen. And that one's done, I don't know how it's done on audio, but it's at 700 on YouTube, 700 on YouTube. What was the summary? What did you take away?
I love that show. It's our 8th one. And I think we're going to probably try to do some more content with Sharon because I think it's useful stuff. Let me read I won't say who it's from, but as I was logging on here, I got a DM, and I got the DM here. I'm going to try to cover it up here. They were laughing at my, the Jordan Jalen Hurts, like there. It says, I really enjoy the Black Jaded Wolf episodes of Uncaged. As someone who hopes to set up at a show very soon for the first time ever, it's very insightful in that regard. But in general, as a pulse of the hobby, Sharon is a great barometer. Good stuff, man. Keep it coming. Great DM, like a really great DM. And why I love the content is, look, we were going to shows. Shows are different. Shows are different than what you see on Instagram. Shows are different than what you see at other shows. And Sharon, Black Jaded Wolf, she's at every show. And sometimes her team is split up and going to 2 shows. You know what I mean? Like the Philly and Dallas at the same time. Chantilly and Mint Collective at the same time. They're going to do different shows the same weekend. She is amazing. And what I get to do from the show, kids, don't get too excited. Sorry, James. So what I get to do on the show is, how do you prep for a show? And how is it different from the last show you prep for? How is it different from the show you're going to prep for? And then what was great about this episode, if you haven't listened to it yet, please, I recommend that you do, was for the first time in 8 episodes and many shows during that time, the way that Sharon prepared for the show was not working. So she's very good. I'm going to Boston. I'm going to bring some Celtics. I'm going to be in the Northeast. I'm going to have some Yankees. I'm going out to LA. I'm going to have XYZ, right? She brought I would say, heavier hitter cards, because the way that the Burbank card show was, people thought it was going to be more Dallasy, more $5,000 to $10,000 RPA, ultra modern, you name it, that kind of stuff. And what she said was, after a day or so, she realized that the 2,000 and less and the local guys were going to be more, and also pop culture and you name it. So we went through what that does for her as a dealer. How does that change what she's going to do? And she said she couldn't just rest with the cards that she had and people coming up to her and I'm going to sell these things. She had to actually get up, move around, make deals, locate cards that other people had at the show that she knew that she'd be able to buy at a reasonable price and resell right then and there or take home with her.
What makes a show like Dallas have people buying higher end cards versus a show like Burbank buying lower cards? What's the like you would think because of all the liquidity that Burbank was buying in the beginning that I would actually help to buy higher end cards. But was it more retail traffic? Was it more first time buyers?
You would think. I think it's more retail traffic. I think, I'm curious to see how Burbank as a show does when it expands in size and goes to a little bit of a different location, because I think Burbank is still getting the benefit of not having a show like this in Southern California, in these areas for a long time. National hasn't been in California in ages. And part of it is it's novelty.
Where the friend tells a friend like, hey,
I'm going to this. We haven't had one of these.
Al, you want to bring your son? We'll go and
right. But if it starts to be every couple of months, it's like, I was just at that one last month.
Al's not buying a $10,000.
I'll go to the next one.
Hurts.
It's the same kind of stuff as like, hell, I can pick up the LeBron in the next one. There'll be another LeBron RPA every month in every auction. There's no like, wow, there's no novelty to it, right? Jimmy Gunn's Dallas got old put away money and Burbank's investing, he says. I mean, listen, it probably was a little bit of both, but I think there was probably more retail, more, hey, let me get some Mookie Betts stuff. Let me get some of this, let me get some of that. Sharon also did a very good job of talking about why it's important to have on-site grading and what that does for basically injecting liquidity into a show. And she said Beckett was just grading hand over fist at the show. Obviously, we just announced a partnership with Beckett, so it was nice to hear that. But that people were buying.
You've been on that for a minute though. Like, yeah, that's been a big.
The best part is
since we started
100%. But the best part is why I love doing the episode with Sharon is she's got a different temperament than you and I, right? She had a card in her showcase.
You're different when you're with her.
I'm very zen. I'm very zen, but no. So
you haven't bashed your head in when she told you that hurts.
No, because listen, she's
stop bringing Giannis to the show, Sharon.
A much more balanced person than you. So here's the deal, right? We'll get through this point at some point, guys. I promise. So she sold a card. I forget if it was a non-sport. She said it was $500.
Okay,
and she sold it at her table. And the person brought it over to Beckett, and I believe Black labeled it.
Yeah, the Garland. Okay? Incredible card.
Not a Garland. It was a non-sport card.
Oh, did you see the Garland?
That was nice too. That Black labeled also, but she sold. I forget if it was like a Rey Skywalker card. Like the Rey, it's not Rey Skywalker, it's not her name, but like Rey from Star Wars, or if it was something else. It was some other card. She mentioned it. It was a non-sport card, but sold it raw for $5,000. It graded Beckett and starting to get like $3,500 offers. That's an amazing thing. And she wasn't like, damn, I should have taken it to Beckett myself. She was happy for this person because
she sold it raw for $500.
Yes.
Someone graded it at the show. Got a Black label and was getting offers for $3,500.
I was getting offers for $3,500, and I believe sold it and probably came back to the table and bought other things from her. You know what I mean? Like, that's a cool story. That's a great.
This person won on the blackjack table. They're going to go and play roulette or craps. They're going to go somewhere else. Another dealer.
You know what else she's great at? She's great at finding, because she's sitting there with the deal flow coming in. Like, I just gloss over what. Okay, that means that's bad for the hobby. And she talked about how there was a line of people she was set up across on Burbank, and there was like a line around the corner of people coming in with their cards to sell at Burbank. And I'm like, well, that's not good. First of all, how are you going to compete with them? Burbank's paying. They're probably paying a good number for the cards. And what it really shows is that everybody, the retail, the collectors, the foot traffic, are really coming in to get liquidity for themselves, to sell out of their cards, not to come in and buy. But she said that's not true. because what happened was those people were selling some of the sports stuff that they got bad grades on, some of the stuff they got back. They were just getting liquidity. And then they were coming to her table and buying non-sport, buying Game of Thrones, using that money and buying it. So, it's funny. I called it the ecology of it, but it is. It's sort of an ecosystem. Each show has its own different ecosystem. And adding in the, the on-site grading, it really kind of helps sprinkle around liquidity there, but also dealers being reasonable, buying cards from people. They get inventory. The people who they're buying from get liquidity and spread it out to other dealers, and it just makes the show pretty healthy. And I started a new thing because it's a show. I started a new sort of like, Stu Presidente getting a rating, like the pizza rating. Every show that she comes back from, I'm going to get an out of 10. And then that Burbank show was an 8.2, which she says is really high. So,
and what would be the criteria of a show?
There's no criteria. It's not like lip syncing, originality. There's nothing like that. But we're gonna rate them against each other. So she'll know that's an 8.2, and the next one she goes to, she'll say, okay, was it better or worse, and then go off there, nice and easy.
Okay.
No rules. It's sort of like grading cards. It's very subjective.
No rules. Good. Cage is the Phil Jackson of cards. Interesting. Would you have punished Dennis Rodman for leaving during the finals to go to WWE?
I would deal with Dennis Rodman in my own way, behind the scenes, so that I get the most out of him, most rebounds in the whole 9 yards. He would have been reprimanded, but no one would ever know about it.
I'm sitting here, I've bought a few cards, I've sold a few cards, and now I have 10 days. No sports. Super Bowl's over. Basketball, we have All-Star break. What would you be recommending for me, Cage?
Man City had a nice game yesterday, and Haaland didn't really do too much. De Bruyne showed up with a nice little goal there.
Haaland scored as well, brother.
Yeah, at the end of the game when it didn't count, it didn't matter. It was a garbage.
3-1.
3-1. Already up 2-1. Late end of game, kind of like a garbage. They're playing a little less defense because they want to try to get the tying goal. I watched it.
2-2, 3-1.
The Dortmund game was 2-2. Be very different. But once it's 2-1, and you know it's done. It's the game.
3-1 is the clincher.
The defense starts to creep up a little bit.
Okay, so watch the little Champions League.
Watch a little soccer. Cup. Okay, you can watch a little soccer if you like. Thoughts on Ruben's interview with Full Send? What would a commercial during All-Star Weekend do for the hobby? It's a great question, Joshua Lineback, and that's what I do when there's not.
Tee me up. Throw me a softball.
There's your softball. What do you think about Ruben's interview with Full Send? Because Full Send is your thing. You watch that religiously.
I can't get enough of it. And their beef with them and Menery, I eat it up. It's almost like Sophia and Alex back during COVID. Josh, we're going to do one better for you. So Ben Taylor is at Fanatics. He's head of marketing. So the other day, Sports Card Nonsense had Mike Mahan run. We're going to have Ben Taylor on to talk about that exact thing, about the marketing and the vision, and specifically the quote, we're going to do more for the hobby this year than companies have done in the last 7 years in terms of marketing, reach, and getting that first-time buyer. So I'm going to ask that exact question on the episode. It'll be airing Monday.
There you go. My take on it before we get into the episode is they can do more in 1 year than has been done in the last decade, and you might not even see it. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff.
That's subliminal. What is that? What does that actually mean?
Well, I mean, you're sitting there with your cards. What's funny is, and obviously we'll talk about this with Ben tomorrow, it's you're sitting there with your cards and you're seeing your card prices and values and whatever you have on them. You're like, oh, well, Fanatics, you see an interview like that. They're going to do more this year than what's been done in the last decade. Well, you just think that means my Acuna cards are going to be worth more because they're going to have more people come in. You just think that my collection is now worth $100, is going to be worth $250 because Fanatics is going to come in and they're going to basically throw gasoline on this fire. That is not what that means.
Let's talk about that, Cage. Because I saw Jeff Wilson's post about searches. He did basketball, baseball, football, and sports cards on Google. And it's interesting, right? Because we think more demand means our cards go up in value. But what I see is there will be more first-time card buyers out there. But that does not mean that cards are going to go up in value. In fact, what's probably going to happen, and we've talked about this at length, is the speed at which Panini and Topps have been printing cards is still going to outpace demand. So cards are actually going to more than likely go down in value, except for art cards, which are the true store value, the Babe Ruth, the Mantles, the cream of the crop. cards will go down in value even though demand will increase. And it's sort of counterintuitive. At least that's my opinion.
And I can't wait to talk to the Fanatics about this, but I'll go one step further. Think of
they
other
don't have
areas.
loyalty to secondary market, though.
Correct.
I don't think.
Or to older items. You're holding something that's not currently Fanatics. It's not what Fanatics is going to be pushing. So let me give you two kind of lines of thinking here. Go with sports betting and go with jerseys, right? So Fanatics, they want to come in and they want to get more people betting on sports. They want to get more people coming in and buying this year's jerseys, the city edition, the whole deal. You, me, the people listening to our show, we're people who put our bets in already. We're people who already bet on somebody last season, the season before. When you came in, you bought Zion cards. You didn't buy cards of people the decade before. You didn't buy the decade before, guys. So Zion's done. When they're pushing, they're going to push their products. They're going to push the next rookie class. They're going to push Wembanyama and whoever the next Wembanyama and Barani, and they're going to push. They're going to want jersey sales.
Julio's literally
right now
holding the cards. Julio Rodriguez.
But are they pushing? So they're pushing Julio because that's their product now, and that's great. And the hope is that if they push Julio, it also would raise the value of Acuna or Tatis or Trout or Machado, but they're not pushing those guys. And guess what? Next year, 2 years from now, they won't be pushing Julio anymore either. There'll be another jersey that's number one on their seller list, like Micah Parsons' jersey is hot now, or Josh Allen's jersey, or whatever it may be. Think of it in those regards, right? Think of it like just because they bring more demand in, more eyes into the product that they're selling this year, that does not necessarily mean it's going to impact a bet you made last year, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. That's the way I think about it.
More likely, it will negatively impact.
Possible.
Possibly you.
I mean, the hope is that they get people into the hobby community, and then people like you and I explain to folks why, if they have $1,000 to spend and they love Julio Rodriguez, they can spend $800 on Julio, but take $200 and spend it on somebody who Julio hopes to be able to hold their jockstrap one day.
Pujols. Is Pujols coming back?
I know he retired. I'd love it if he came back, but he's done. But yeah, somebody like Pujols or Ichiro or Jeter or Griffey or whatever it may be, that they can open the door and bring new people in. What the hobby does with those new people and the money that those new people bring in, that can't all be up to Fanatics.
It's up to us.
Yeah. It's up to you specifically and your blueberries.
The blueberries are delicious.
So do you like blueberries because Gary Vee likes blueberries? Is that something that was bestowed upon you in like the Zen of
so
V?
good at creating content. By the end of 2020,
he owns it. He owns blueberries.
Everything anybody will have done, it will be discipled of Gary Vee.
Maybe.
He is conquering the digital world, one blueberry at a time.
I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. All right, so what else? So you don't
like that there's no sports. I am selling a Mahomes card on eBay through Probstein, and I had one of the most interesting experiences. I don't know if people out there knew this happens. I go through stuff, and then I share it with you guys. So it's a card. It's actually a PWCC weekly, has almost an identical one of one, just a different patch. You know how they do that. One of one, different patches. But last night, it was sitting at 5,400. Been up for a day, doing pretty well.
Pretty good for a day, yeah.
About 103 watchers, I think 58 bids. And overnight, it went up to $10,100.
And you're like, I would say this is close to full send here. It's close to the full send podcast.
Okay, I mean, I bought it for I think 10.8.
Did you look at the bids? Did you click on the number of feedback?
I clicked on the feedback. They all had feedback.
Okay.
But then I go in maybe 3-4 hours later, and it's back to 5,400.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that those were shill bids. It was obvious. No one bids like that. But they still had 1,000 review, 2,000 review. Like, these weren't zero bid items. And Probstein's team came in and they deleted those bids.
Yep.
And my first question is, how do you know in this crazy world? And second thing is, what if they keep doing it? And third question, I guess the bonus is, who is doing this? Because there's no text from me asking anybody to show my item. Who is on the other end of this item doing that?
I'd like to venture a guess.
Tell me.
It's the person who owns the same or similar card that's in the PWCC auction and is bidding to try to create a comp on your card when their similar one is selling in the PWCC auction. Because if yours sells for 15, then theirs at 12 or 13 looks like a bargain. But if yours is sitting at 5,800, they're not going to get 12 or 13 on theirs. And it's really a shame.
It's
But that's
entirely possible. Is that the only person?
no, it could be anyone who has similar Mahomes one of one type of cards. The second tier, third tier, eighth tier, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. The people who have comparable Mahomes cards, Mahomes one of ones cards, you name it, who don't want the value of their cards to be negatively impacted by a lower comp, will go in, especially on eBay, because what you know what the best part about eBay is that it has a lot of eyeballs. You know what the worst part about eBay is? Those eyeballs have no shortage of paper company names. And
Do
there's
you
nothing
think?
that anyone can do about it because Probstein could kill those bidders. All they have to do is sign up with another email address, another account, and bid.
But they won't. But they wouldn't have feedback. Like
I'm
these
sure these
actually have
people
thousands.
probably have a million feedback already. They probably have a million accounts already set up, and they wait for a card like this where they have to do it on. Or I also believe you are cursed. I believe you individually are cursed because this is a card that you have tried to sell many, many times.
Incorrect, Cage. I had 2 Mahomes one of ones. By the way, you once asked me who would buy Mahomes eye black. We've got our answer. It's Spinatron, you dick. One of the best collectors in the world. In your
Spinatron?
face for hating on the cards I buy.
He has a
I had
Mahomes eye
2
black?
different. Yeah, I had 2 one of ones.
Mhm.
And both have been purchased and then not paid one time.
Okay.
This is the first time I'm running it on eBay. We'll see. It's an experience.
I mean, it looks like it got cleaned up a little bit, which is good. It looks like Probstein is doing what they need to do to try to clean up the shill bidding, which is always good. So many deleted bids. Jimmy Guns knows. Shills, all that. When people bid their money should have to be instantly available, instantly be locked in
I
escrow.
agree.
I mean,
I agree.
the problem is I can't talk out of both my mouth and my asshole, Jimmy. I mean, and if I do, it doesn't smell good. And here's my problem with that, right? It's we complain that alt was not a place to sell because if you wanted to buy your cards on there, you had to have all your money up front in there and done. And because of that, people were getting less money for their cards. And I said, all right, that's not a system that works. And they changed it. And I think you had to have some of your money on account, like a quarter of it or whatever it was. At least you had something. But I would think that you can't punish the 95% of people who will actually follow through and pay for the 5% who don't. I don't know what the fix is, but I doubt that the fix is having that money up.
Cage. So
ready.
When you submit it with when you consign with Probstein, he sends you like that consigner email, right?
Yep.
Twice a day, actually. It's pretty incredible. When do you go in and click and watch like your items?
Some of them. They've updated it. They've done really well. It used to just be kind of like, hey, here's whatever it is, and you had to
have
find
your
them.
items been shilled before?
So I've sold hundreds, if not thousands, of items with Probstein, and I've only had 2 relist for non-pay, and two total items, and they were like $100 Pokemon cards. One of them sold for more the next time. One of them sold for less. I've had cards, come back. I mean, I sold them before they changed the rules on eBay with the 3-day. It used to be 30 days. I've had cards come back 28 days. I'm certain that there have been cards that have been shilled. I'm certain. But I only had a couple that were non-paid, and they were small items. But I've never sold a modern card that's a 5-figure card like what you're selling. If I'm selling cards like that through Probstein, it's usually vintage cards, different market for those, different bidders for those. My modern stuff is usually in a lower range.
You haven't sold speculative cards through him.
Correct. And I haven't sold cards where it's well known that there is shilling. Like I've never sold a Trey Young card between $1,000 and $12,000. I know that's going to get shilled.
That's a shitstorm. By the way, Bless him. Bless him sent me this card.
That's a cool card.
Gemmed. Thank you. If you're still on the chat, I appreciate you, brother.
I sent it raw and you gemmed it. Nice, man. Yeah. That's awesome. Look at how long.
He's probably not going to be the happiest with me because it took me forever to grade these for him. Mm-hmm. And then the second, I guess I'll break the news here live on the.
He's there. It says hell yeah. He's on it. He said hell yeah on his comments. He's happy.
Good.
Look at that.
Which is basically.
Is that Blessum's card? That SGA?
Yeah. It is, right? It's the pretty confident. He sent 2. I think one was a T-Law and the other was a SGA.
That's nice. Optic, that year's Optic is how Andrew and I first started dating.
I'll DM you after this. We'll figure this out. I have all the cards here. Say that again. I do love. Yeah,
That
I
year's
pulled the Trey
Optic. Yep, he Trey Optic. He was breaking. He had his toes painted or something. There was something weird going on, and he came on the live, and I was in there. You're doing good. You got the right guys. I was cheering him on.
Thank you. Thanks, Dad. I've never opened a pack of cards before.
The Holland Gem, happy for you. I'm happy for him too.
So,
He needs a win.
Cage asked me the other day, he was like, who do you think's going to the finals?
Mhm.
I want my answers from the other day voided because I was unprepared. I didn't have time to think. And when I make
So
predictions,
it's not
I really
the
want
Mavs and the Cavs.
No, I want to stand by my predictions. I don't want them to be on the fly. And I've thought about these trades, and I want to give the grades, and we could discuss them.
Sure.
So here are my 3 grades. The Mavs, I think every team, the Mavs, the Suns, and the Lakers upgraded. I really do. But I still think that there's weaknesses in each team. And what we could talk through them. You could tell me what you think. Mavs, I give a B minus. I give a B minus because they have all the potential in the world, but they're missing rotation pieces. I think Dinwiddie's going to be a big loss for them. Suns, I'm curious about this question. I want to know what you think. Do you think they tried? I give them a B. Do you think they tried to give up Ayton instead of Mikal Bridges in that
I'm
trade?
sure they tried.
And they said no.
And that's it, no. Because Bridges has got a smaller contract. He's under control, and the team control for less money for a longer time. It's a much better play for the Nets. And you saw he scored 40-something the other day.
Do you know he hasn't missed a game since high school?
I did see that. I think there was a game there that he did miss because of the trade. I think he did miss a game this year because of the trade. It was his first missed game. I think his streak of games played in was snapped because of the trade.
Are you sure? Because I think he could actually play an extra game. And there was a guy who played 84 games in 82 in an
Maybe, but I know there was a team
trade.
game that he did not play because of the trade. I was listening to the Nets broadcast right after the trade, and they said that this is a guy who's as durable as it gets, and he plays in every single game, and he hasn't missed a game, and this was going to be the first game he missed because of the trade. Pretty nuts.
Here's my worry. Durant, Booker, CP3, and TJ Warren. All of those guys have missed extensive time. Tons of time. So I give them a B, and then Lakers a B+. Any thoughts? Anything you want to talk about with NBA before we
Well,
wrap
I
up?
mean, listen, I think all three of those trades come down to depth, right? And rotational depth, and you need that to make a run in the playoffs. I think Dallas, look, if you're just going on frontline talent, Kyrie and Luka, I mean, that's amazing. You want to go on starter talent, look what the Suns have. But we've seen it time and time again. When the playoff run is made, somebody steps up. Whether it's Chris Middleton hitting a big shot, or Drew Holiday playing a role, or Bobby Portis playing important minutes for the Bucks when they made their run. The Lakers, they come down to, I just can't trust Anthony Davis until he proves me wrong to make an actual healthy run.
Do you think there's any substance to? Apparently, LeBron wanted to trade AD for Durant. AD found out and was sulking about that during the. You know how there's that clip going around of him not celebrating LeBron's record break. Do you think there's any truth to that?
I mean, possibly. I would never know. I mean, it definitely was a bad look for him sitting down while the entire stadium is up trying to, cheer on history. It definitely wasn't a good look. But look, they still need pieces, and even if they got pieces, because of the hole they find themselves in now, it's a real uphill climb for the Lakers now anyway. I mean, they're not even in the play-in. I mean, they'd have to move up a little bit. So they'd have to win some stuff. Yeah, D'Lo was a nice piece. He looked good. He did look good. D'Lo's a nice piece for them. They're in
13th seed. That's insane. Yeah. 27 and 32.
So think about what an uphill battle that would be for them to climb, and get into a real playoff.
It's not, because it's a two-game difference between them and OKC.
Right. I'm not talking about OKC. I'm talking about even if they make it into the playoffs, they're not hosting a home court. You're talking about who's going to win. You gave 3 names: the Mavs, the Suns, and the Lakers. The Suns will have a home field. Maybe they might even be first. Who the heck knows? I mean, by the time it's all done, because of their starters play, clearly they're gonna have meaningful playoff games in Phoenix. The Mavs, if they put it together at all, same thing. they're moving up, but they're moving up into the top. The Lakers to move up they'd be moving up into the bottom of it, and they have to go on the road and
and beat the Nuggets or the Grizz. Neither of those teams would
sure
intimidate the
I'm
Lakers.
sure they could do it. But it's not about intimidating or not. It's about, if they were 32 and 27 instead of 27 and 32, we'd be having a different conversation. Moving up and picking up 5 games, put them in the top half of the West instead of trying to fight to get into the bottom half of the West. It just makes it a little bit difficult for them.
And then when they get there, their legs might not even be there for playoff time because they're old. As interesting. This for me. I mean, you guys probably are listening. You can't name a true favorite to win from either conference. Forget even the finals. And I think that parity's made this season so interesting. There's only 30 games after All-Star break, so it starts February 24th. Mm-hmm. And because of the parity, because of, home court's still available, big Bucks win over the Celtics, like 3C squad, but home court's still available on both sides. Every game's going to matter since February 24th. I'm going to have a bit of withdrawal these next 10, 8, 9 days. But once it's back, man, it's going to be so fun.
Can I tell you who I'm rooting for? I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'll tell you who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the Nets.
Because I like that team.
It's a cool story that if that team can actually do something, make some noise after shedding the big three, right? That would be a good story. And even funnier if Ben Simmons actually plays meaningful minutes. But if I were them, I would just keep him on the bench, let him carry the water. But
I think that's what they're doing. 10 minutes a game.
Great pieces there and if they can put it together, it could be fun to watch. It could be fun
rooting for the Nets.
Yeah, just because of the story of it. Imagine the Nets in the finals against either the Suns or Dallas. And the Nets take out Kyrie or the Nets take out Kevin Durant. Think of what a great storyline that would be, that, the star left to go form a super team with other stars, and the leftover bunch of Mikal Bridges and Cam Thomas. I didn't say it's going to happen. I said what I'm rooting for. What would be
if they got Jared Allen back, that would have been a different story. Then they would have had Ian, the good luck charm, the jersey.
I mean, think about it. You want to layer up. What if they bring Russell Westbrook in, the guy nobody wants? They bring Westbrook in.
Why does no one want Westbrook?
It just doesn't fit with a lot of the teams, the money wise, especially. The contract doesn't fit. The upside for the amount of money that a team has to pick up to play him.
If he gets picked up, they have to pay him that money. It's not like a veteran's minimum, like Boogie Cousins.
It could be. It depends on what happens, right? I mean, the other team would have to negotiate some sort of a buyout with him and that kind of stuff. It would be an interesting scenario for that.
When he went to Houston, when he went to Washington, I was the biggest Westbrook detractor. Mm-hmm. Then his cards, I think I made his card a play back like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Got traded to the Lakers. But this still doesn't make sense to me, unless there's something I don't know. How he wouldn't fit with the Suns when he already played with Durant, it's already worked with Durant, and the Suns lack depth makes no sense to me.
I mean, listen, talent and fan appreciation don't always go hand in hand. One of our best performing episodes, the one we did live, was, card performance and player performance they're not linked. And I think you could see an appreciation for Westbrook soon. I think you could see an appreciation for Westbrook's cards soon, because you look at it, he's moving up all-time great lists. Yeah. Do me a favor, pull up where he is on all-time assists. It's going to surprise you. If you pull up NBA all-time assist
triple-double,
which is amazing in and of itself, but that's just one season. LeBron led the league in assists 1 year too. But look at all-time NBA
9,000 assists. I'll tell you what he's on in a second.
And and he's moving up the points list too. 10. He's number 10. He's a top 10 all-time NBA player in assists. That's amazing, and that's with LeBron passing him. I mean. Think of some of the great point guards who have played this game, and he's still going. He still has many years to add to that. He's going to move up the top 10 assists, and he's going to move up in points. So the legacy is there. It's just, he's got.
I don't know why it wouldn't make sense for him to go to Phoenix, unless him and Durant aren't cool like that. We'll never know. I don't think that there's any articles out there supporting that, but why would he not go there? That's the perfect fit.
I mean. Does Phoenix really need a starting five, or you take him off the bench?
He's already proven he plays off the bench, and you have him and TJ Warren. That's a fun duo, and then you could also use him with Durant. They have the chemistry.
I think it's bad enough for Durant already. If he wins a
Too much
championship, there,
personality.
people,
CP3, Durant.
If Durant wins a championship there, he's not going to get any credit for it at all. They're going to say you joined a team that won. But if they add Westbrook in there, they're like, oh my God, he couldn't even win with Chris Paul and Devin Booker.
A second ago,
Westbrook
Westbrook was unwanted by every team. It's not like Westbrook coming on is like
unwanted. Doesn't mean that he's not a former MVP. Unwanted means he's being paid $50 million a year, and right now there's a contract that has to be resolved by the team that has him. That means a buyout. It means it's difficult to move him. Unwanted.
But isn't Utah going to buy him out? Isn't that the whole conversation?
We'll see. Well, I mean, has it happened yet?
I don't know. It just makes so much sense to me.
We'll see what happens. And
Kyrie for Westbrook made a ton of sense to me.
Obviously the Nets team didn't want to have him over with the Lakers.
One thing that's not being talked about, we talk upside potential. I'm really interested to watch how Luka shares the spotlight with someone. And it's not being discussed. Like, what if he hates Kyrie? What if they never mesh? What if Luka feels like Kyrie's taking too much of the ball and too much of the spotlight away from him?
I think that Kyrie will be a consummate professional. I think Kyrie will do everything he needs to do to complement Luka because Kyrie has no contract after this season. Okay. So it has to come out that Kyrie was all that and a bag of chips. Yeah. A great teammate, behaved. He all of a sudden, grabbed the telescope and realized that the world is not flat. Like, he's going to have to really be that guy because his money depends on it. And this may be the last big one for him. So
they're on a 3-game losing streak.
It hasn't looked good.
Last night, this is who this team started. Luka, Reggie Bullock, Nick Killina. How do you say his name?
Ntilikina.
Frankie.
Ntilikina.
Josh Green, and Dwight Powell. Mm-hmm. That's not a team that's going to win you a lot.
No.
That's not a team that's going to win you a lot.
No.
And
I mean, it's Luka and Kyrie. That's it. And when you have that would be a great team until you have the Suns in the same division that have, 4 All-Stars. You know what I mean? You have better teams. That's the moon is square, kamikaze, and made of cheese, which is why I love the moon. It's yummy cheese. Any team that signs Kyrie to more than 1 year is suicidal. Splendid, you're probably right there. 1-year deals are probably the smart way for a team to go with him.
Guys, what else? What are we not talking about?
I'm excited about baseball. We can talk about that with Fanatics. I mean, I think Bleecker is having a trade night this Tuesday, the 21st. Tops released this week. I'm going to give the Fanatics guy a little bit of a hard time. So listen to this.
Did you open?
Coming?
Did you open some?
I opened 2 boxes.
Okay.
And
today
from the same case with Ian. I opened
today.
One yesterday. I opened one yesterday in the day, and one. No. I did hold him out of school, but not because of Tops.
What a guy!
But I opened 2 boxes, 2 jumbo. So jumbo.
We have a rule, Luka Nation. If you have kids, you'll appreciate this. When Tops comes out, you hold your kids out of school for that week. It's a 1-week vacation, nothing crazy. The teachers could send school work home.
Go get yourself a blueberry with some dark chocolate on it there, stony eyes, and I'm gonna go tell what happened with my stuff, right? So sold tons of Tops yesterday. Jumbo's one auto, 2 relics. Number 1, the relics are garbage. It's a manufactured hat relic. It's not even it's not even from a hat. It's like a fake relic that they make, which is absurd. And my son's looking at it like, what the hell is this? Like, why even bother? Literally, why even bother? It's completely non-collectible. You might as well just not even have it in there. I'll show you.
Your 8-year-old son said that?
I'm being dead serious.
He said, why even bother? This is not collectible.
Especially because the one was an Astro. And he's like, oh, I don't want this. I'll throw this in the garbage. But here's the best part. You do get 1 auto per jumbo. So you're guaranteed an auto. And in our first box, we got an autograph that it's not a terrible autograph. It was the 1988, because now it's 88 style instead of the 87. It's 1988 style. It's a children's show, pal. 1988 style. We got an autograph of Ryan Mountcastle, who is a very good hitter for the Baltimore Orioles. It's not his rookie. I think it's now a 2nd year for Ryan Mountcastle. What's the matter? You like Ryan Mountcastle?
No, I'll tell you in a second. Go ahead.
He had 20-something home runs and 80-something RBIs. Good team. Exactly. Time to go outside and smoke a joint. That's what I start talking baseball and boom, he's distracted. So we pull
we pulled that Ryan Mountcastle auto, 1988 tops. So, all right, it's okay. The relics were not so great. We got base cards of some rookies, but no good color. You know, the gold cards were of nobodies. And
You read the box and there was nothing.
I got
two.
I got two
Welcome
boxes.
to the show. Everyone gets that. Sorry, blueberry time.
So in the second box, I open up, and you also get an auto in that. In the first box, we got a Ryan Mountcastle auto. Would you like to put on your clear eyes for a second and take a guess in my second box what auto I got? Let's give the chat a second. Let's give the chat. So my first box,
it was Ryan Mountcastle's brother named Travis Mountcastle.
It was Ryan Mountcastle, 1988 tops auto again. So we bought two boxes. I pulled them from different parts of the sealed case. It's a 6-box case, one auto per box. I took two boxes out, and my son opened two of the same auto. And what's funny about it is
Michael Scott put the golden tickets.
Box two, also Ryan Mountcastle. And last year, I don't remember if it was update, maybe we got jumbo boxes also, and I bought him two boxes because, you know, if one box sucks, at least he'll get some variety. There'll be something in the second box. And we got 1987 tops autographs, you know, the wood grain of Edgar Martinez in our first box. And he was like, who's Edgar Martinez? And I explained to him he was a great DH, he's a Hall of Famer, awesome stuff. That doesn't do it for a kid. Yeah, Seattle. And he's like, let's open the second box. Let's see what auto we got. And remember, we got Edgar Martinez in the first box. Do you want to guess who we got in the second box? Edgar Martinez. The exact same 1987 tops wood grain border Edgar Martinez. So now my son says, don't buy two boxes anymore. Why bother? We're just going to get the same thing. Let somebody else get the same order that we're going to get. Because literally the last two times we've done the jumbo, we've got over two boxes to get the same exact order. So what kind of collation is that?
Collation issue.
Yeah,
they put all the golden tickets next to each other.
I mean, what the heck? I'm sure the checklist is great. Oh, baby, I like it raw. But it's probably impossible to get those auto. I mean, someone will get it. They'll be at a Walmart. And
let me ask you this.
Shoot.
If inside of those was a one-of-one Babe Ruth cut auto,
I'd be thrilled.
And then the second box, you get a one-of-one Babe Ruth cut
auto. Does that ever happen?
How fast are you driving back to your LCS?
Oh, I'm driving back very fast. But that doesn't happen. I even said that. I said, we really can't complain. Like, what if we got, you know, a Julio auto, and then they open up the next box, I got another Julio auto. And he'd be like, well, that would be great, but we didn't. We got Ryan Mountcastle.
So if you want to be a DJ, you go that route. I picked up a sick card.
Soaring Stars. I like that.
Yeah, so I love this card. And someone had it like listed ending midday. And I don't understand why people don't like these. But you know when it says like $40 starting bid or buy it now for $60?
Yeah.
A PSA 9 of this card is like $60, but forget the price. I just like this card. I think it's one. It was starting bid for $40. No one even put a bid on.
Yep. The card that I showed you last time, my Cage card, it was started at $50. I put a bid in like 3 days before and no one else bid. I'm like, yeah, this is great. I won. Fantastic. You get the alert.
Do we have any New Yorkers out there? I was going to send this to consign, but if there's any New Yorkers out there who would like this, I could ship it out.
What is that?
Miles McBride.
Miles McBride. It's a little Court Kings action.
Yeah. Heir apparent out of 199.
Nice.
I found this.
Listen, I opened a box of, what was the basketball? Was it Donruss basketball? Hoops basketball? I forget what it was. Whatever the most recent basketball release that came out was, and I got an Obi Toppin auto. Not a rookie. It was an Obi Toppin auto.
Never invested in rookies under Tom Thibodeau.
$200. No, but it wasn't even he. I mean, he's not even a rookie. It's his second or third year now by, you know, already. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Tim's, the San Francisco Giants mem, wants to tell you his secrets to buying Kobe cards.
Tim's a big Donovan Mitchell fan.
He's a San Francisco Giant.
Donovan Mitchell. He's actually a huge Spider Mitchell fan. He's like,
Donovan Mitchell is
why does everyone spend all this money on Luka when I know my guys? Do we go back and forth on YouTube? I know my commenters.
He's a Tim Lincecum fan.
Tim Lincecum was amazing. All right. So what else you got for me before we wrap up?
Listen,
people love this.
45 minutes of fun right there. And I love Oh Baby, I Like It Raw, and Tim and Justin and Splendid and all the guys who came in on the chat to help us, you know, move this thing along. You guys are the best. You know, keep the comments coming. I'm excited about All-Star break. I am. I know you say there's no sports coming, but he likes Lincecum. But
that's not an opinion.
You
schedule.
Did you have to give me? Was there an opinion? Did you ask me for an opinion?
No, you're like, I know that you're saying that there's no sports. It's not like I'm saying it. Like the schedule says it.
But it is sports. It's just not head-to-head games. It's still sports. What would you call it? Are they reading?
Well, first off, for most of the days, they're actually not doing it. It's just 3 days. And one day, I think it's like a passing competition. That is 3-point shooting. And then it's
skills,
a dunk contest.
The skills.
And they put Trey Murphy, who I actually thinks a really good shooter. They put him in the dunk competition. I think he's going to win, and he's going to put some people on notice.
Okay, so then the last question, I'll leave it for you. It's Southpaw Slabs reminds me. There is an interesting Kobe item in the Golden auction that's ending.
It's his yearbook, right?
No.
Where like he's signed with other people underneath
it. It is, I believe it's Old Man in the Sea. I believe it's an Ernest Hemingway book that was taken out of the school library. And each person puts their name on it when they check the book out. But Kobe, of course, in high school, already knew he was going to be something. So he signed in script and was signing his auto. So here he is, a high school Kobe signing an auto. It's an actual script Kobe autograph on the inside cover of a library book that someone stole from the library. Old Man in the Sea. Yep. Thanks, Southpaw Slabs. My concern about this is whatever library it is, like if that high school still exists, if I'm the library, I make a claim for the book back. Stolen from the library. I mean, like, look, give me that book. That book belongs in the library.
Like a true lawyer. I'm going to take you to court, he says.
That's what the hobby's all about. Is that an item you would like to own of Kobe? It could be the first known auto of Kobe.
So I actually saw Golden is ending tonight, but they ask for so much to register. I think they want like your bank statement, like proof that you like. I'm not registered to bid on Golden, so no, I'm not going to be getting that.
You can't register to bid on Golden? Why? The VPN, the whole thing you're trying to do, the blocking stuff, it doesn't work?
What did you send them?
Who sent who?
You have to send them some stuff.
Golden?
Yeah, like to get
send them whatever they asked me to send. I have a $10 million bidding limit at Golden.
Buyer.
I could bid $10 million at Golden.
Increase
if I want
credit limit.
Yeah, my credit limit is $10 million at Golden. I could really do some damage in a Golden auction if I wanted to. MMA Carbo, what's up, man? Hope to see you soon, either at Mint, National, maybe both, Smoke a Stove.
They want to see a credit card limit at least 25% above the requested bid. They want to see your financial statements, auction house purchase history. I could send them the auction house purchase history. Or Golden auctions history. I've never bid with them. Or home value. Or cryptocurrency account.
Sounds all good. I mean, these all sound good. Cryptocurrency account. How are they going to know it's yours?
I don't know, man. It's a good question.
See what I mean? Like, take a picture of like Kevin Rose's cryptocurrency account. Show him 400 Moonbirds and 500 Bitcoins and all kinds of
A lot of fun on the Moonbirds right now, huh? And proof. Do you think we should get back in?
No, it's because his wallet got compromised, and people that scares people. Guys, 30-something people in here with the live. We love it. We should do the lives more often. I appreciate that. Keep the questions coming. We'll have to do our most listened to episode this year is Coffee with Cage. So we'll have to do another one of those at some point too. We'll let you guys in the chat, 30-something of you, ask questions, and we'll have some fun. But enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and enjoy no sports, because that's what Andrew says. No sports.
Go for walks. Hemingway used to go for 3-hour walks every day to peak his creativity.
Nice. I like it. Bye, everybody.